So I've always enjoyed the Universal horror monsters, the Frankensteins, monsters like the Mummy,
Hmm.
Dracula, Werewolf. So I was a fan of those, but this is the first part of the '80s and so on. It was just picking up. As far as getting the part, I was very fortunate. I was very fortunate. I always say sometimes there's talent, sometimes there's luck, sometimes there's a combination of both. I was in both lanes at the right time and got the job. And successfully, 3 decades later, here we are having this conversation with Nasty Neal.
Very good. Was there like an audition for Jason?
The audition was very unique. I went over and met Tom McLaughlin, the writer director. I also met the special effects people and Michael Nomad, who was the stunt coordinator. And then from that point, I migrated over to Frank Mancuso Jr. at Paramount Studios. So it wasn't a physical showing, it was a statue, being able to walk in and having that physical statue that they were looking for.
Interesting. And you brought up Universal Monsters, and I have them here. I grew up with that too. It's my favorite. And watching part six again, there is a lot of like callbacks or homage to Frankenstein.
Yeah, that's Tom McLaughlin's fingerprint. He also Universal Monster, big time into the horror of the '60s. And when he talked about the Jason coming back to life, like Frankenstein, with the electricity, that's why he didn't want Jason to be a zombie. He wanted
Mhm.
Jason to have some thought process or some connectivity of brain cells as he was going through the process of the film. So you may see some things where you go, "Oh, that's cool," or now I can see why Jason is non-stoppable going forward after part six, because when he was brought back to life, the only way to really take his life is to dismember him.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean that's really. I've had arguments with people. They think he's always kind of a ghost or something, but I say from part six on is when he's supernatural.
And it is. I mean, if you do, are you familiar with the Universal Studios? Frankenstein was built out of several different dead bodies.
Hmm.
So theoretically, you could go forward with that, with the head of Jason and add all new body parts and continue on with the process.
So did you take some of that into consideration when you're playing Jason, like Frankenstein or the Mummy, for like your movements?
I didn't actually take it into consideration, but Tom McLaughlin gave me real good direction. I mean, he was the director, and my part was a little different than most actors or actresses. Sometimes you embrace the character and you become the character, and you put your own little twist on the character. Mine was he really had a thought, and we sat down and had some real in-depth conversations. He still allowed me to put in how I wanted to walk because that was my natural walk, which he embraced because that's what he was looking for.